Hello everyone, if you remember, I covered quantum suicide a little while ago, and I felt like I didn't give the quick look what it needed to because I didn't really get to the point where the whole main gameplay factor comes in. If you remember from the first video, there was a game called Make 10 where you have to make 10 with a group of people in order to not die. The AI will kill you, or kill whoever, whoever has the lowest card that does not equal 10. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going on, and you'll see how far this demo actually goes on to. Okay, it's nice to hear. They used to tell me stories about the Everett crew members. Nothing too saucy, I hope. Well, the worst I remember was one about a Russian crew member sneaking into the kitchen and stealing potatoes so that he could make his own vodka. That was Vladimir. He was quite the scoundrel back in the day. Sometimes I'm surprised they let him join the crew at all, to be honest. Here we are. After what it seems like a labyrinth of hallways, we arrived at a closed door that looked absurdly similar to all the others. As the door stood open, I discovered that I couldn't have been more wrong. Interesting. I was rendered speechless by the luscious garden spread out before me. I felt the crunch of grass under my shoes. The sweet honeyed scent of flowers pervaded the air. It was the most green I'd seen in one place. It was beautiful. Sorry to have kept you waiting. Mummy's here. A little girl with a shock of pink hair and a dress to match barreled towards us. Her face was lit up with a bright smile. What took you so long? We have a guest joining our picnic today. Allow me to introduce Shattered Controllers. A man with silver-streaked hair, brushy eyebrows, and a genial smile stood up from his picnic blanket as we approached. He took a few steps forward to meet us and offered me his hand. We shook hands firmly. It's nice to meet you. This is Vladimir, and this is our daughter, Melody. Hello, Melody. I crouched down beside her so we could see eye to eye. She kept a tight hand on Mother's skirt, but she didn't shy away from me. I'm 5 years old. My favorite food is carrots. Nice to meet you. Okay, well, this is a lie. No 5-year-old's favorite food is carrots. I'm pleased to meet you too, Melody. That was a very good introduction, sweetie. Melody grinned at me proudly and raced back to sit down on the picnic blanket. Sit, drink, smile. Vladimir poured me a glass of lemonade and pushed it into my hands. Corrupt patted the space next to her with a hand. Come and enjoy the picnic. I sat down next to her. Here, have a sandwich. Thank you. I didn't realize how hungry I was until I bit into the roast beef and salad sandwich. I hurriedly wiped off a streak of sauce that dripped out of my sandwich and down my chin. The food distracted me for a long moment, but I quickly became conscious of the fact that this was an opportune time to finally get some of my questions answered. Time was ticking away, and I only had a few days to partner with someone to make 10, or I'd be royally screwed. So, do you guys need a partner for the deletion game? Whoops. Damn it. Do they need a partner? I don't mean to be rude, but we are here to enjoy our day together, not to burden Melody with such thoughts. Please keep speaking about that to a minimum. Oh. You guys need a partner? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Well, I went backwards. That was weird. I'm sorry. I didn't mean... Don't worry about it. You didn't know. I awkwardly returned to my sandwich. Melody seemed oblivious to what had just transpired and decided that was the perfect time to introduce me to her dinosaurs. This is Fred and this is George. She held up a green Tyrannosaurus and a purple Stegosaurus with enthusiasm. Here, you can play with George. Yes, yes. This is a fertile land and we all will thrive. We will rule over this land. We will call it this land. I'm not very creative. That's a silly name. Let's call it something else. Ah, curse your stubborn, sudden but inevitable betrayal. I know what we should do. We should climb trees instead. Really? The one time I'd get to play with dinosaurs on a spaceship and she wanted to play something else. What? Nothing. Right. We're off to climb some trees like monkeys we are. Ready? Ready. Be careful not to damage the trees, Melody. You don't want to ruin Katsushi's hard work. Yes, Mom. I turned around as Melody scampered off away from me. I gave chase and we were soon ducking and weaving through the small cluster of trees at the edge of the room. We spent the rest of the afternoon playing various games as her parents looked fondly on from a picnic basket. Okay, Melody, last game. Shadow Controls is probably tired and we need to get cleaned up for dinner soon. Okay, can we play one game of hide and seek? Got it. You go hide and I'll count. Make sure you shut your eyes. Mom, make sure Shadow Controller shuts his eyes. I will. Now off you pop. 1, 2, 3. Shadow Controllers. 5. Yes? Listen, you're a good kid and we want to help out if we can. Tell us your number, and if we can team up with you, we will. Because remember, all the numbers are digital. We don't have any physical cards, so they could be lying through their teeth, and I could be lying too. I have a, what do I have? I have a 5, I think it was. If we can't, then no harm done. We promise not to tell a soul what your number is, okay? Ooh, should we tell them? These guys look like okay, right? Let's tell them. You promise not to tell anyone else. Because imagine if you didn't like somebody. You could force them to die. Of course. My number is 5. I see. We can't help you out, I'm afraid. That's too bad. Thanks for asking, in any case. Well, I better go find Melody. Ready or not, here I come. Corrupt gave me a warm smile. I don't know if I like that name, Corrupt. It seems weird. As soon as I turned around, I noticed 2 pink pigtails sticking up from one of the flower bushes. It seemed Melody had forgotten to take her hair into account while hiding. I feigned ignorance and searched for a few minutes, just to make her happy, you know. Where's Melody gone? I can't find her anywhere. Melody, where are you? The rose bush giggled, obviously, as I walked near it. Found you. I gave Melody a soft pat on the head as she squealed and ran back to her parents. I didn't think it was possible people to have that much energy. I followed her back to the picnic spot at a trudge. She really wore me out. Vladimir and Corrupt had already packed up everything. The picnic blanket had been thrown unceremoniously over Vladimir's sturdy shoulders. Alright, that's it. Time to go, Melody. I want to keep playing. Listen to your mother. She said we're going, so we're going. She huffed sulkily. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. Corrupt pulled me in an unexpected bear hug. It was surprising, but welcome. She squeezed me tightly before pulling away. Her hands were pointed firmly on my shoulders as she looked me square in the eyes. If there's anything we can do for you, let us know. You are part of the Everett crew now, and that means your family. If you ever want to hear more stories about your parents, or spend time with Melody, our doors are always open to you. Got that? Got it. Good. She tapped my shoulders twice encouragingly, and then released me. Now I suppose you're also heading to the baths. If you go out of this door and right, you'll see a doorway covered with some cloth. That's the baths. If you get lost, just call AI and she'll sort you out. Thank you. Spending the day playing with Melody was quite soothing, but I couldn't help but wonder if I should have spent more time productively. In order to not lose the deletion game, I had to make friends and I had to do it fast. If I couldn't find people to ally with soon, then I was sure to end up on the shopping block. It was the kind of game that relied on other people to win, unless you were lucky enough to get the 10 from the beginning, when all you had was a measly 5. I needed others to make it work, but how? I was the outsider. Why would anyone trust a stranger? Why indeed. I entered the bathroom. It appeared to be empty.
Oh, Sarah?
A voice whispered in my ear from behind. I jumped forward, startled, and had to steady myself on a nearby wall. Beatrix, you scared me. Didn't think anyone was here. Truth be told, I followed you in. I guess that makes me a stalker. Do you like that? I don't know how to respond to that. You can make up your mind later. In any case, after you finish here, would you be a darling and come to the medical bay? I would love to spend some quality time with you. And she emphasized that last sentence by dragging her eyes languidly down my form. Well, what about dinner? We've only got a little bit of time until it starts. Don't worry, I'll take care of you. This isn't a meeting you want to miss. Alright, well, let me clean up and I'll be right there. Perfect, I'll be waiting for you. I have a feeling this is a ruse to lower my guard. Beatrix's curious request was to me swirled in my head as I lathered shampoo. I decided that I ought to go see what she wants as soon as possible and brought my shower to a quick close. I toweled off roughly, dressed, and found my way back to the medical bay with the help of AI. Good afternoon, Shadow Controllers. It's good to see you up and about. Oh, it's nice to stretch my legs and get out of those tiny quarters. I imagine it would be. I'm supposed to be meeting Beatrix here. Is she around?
Nicholas?
Enough chit-chat. Apparently so. I asked you to come here for a reason. And what reason would that be? We'd like you to share we'd like you to share information with you about the deletion game. We'd like you to share information. Yeah, I don't think that first you needs to be there. If you're willing. In this game, information is power. So we're going to offer you a deal. 2 for 1. We will tell you our numbers if you tell us yours. It's a simple information swap, but you must be honest. Hey, honesty is a two-way street, sister. Why me? We feel a certain duty of care. You were unconscious for most of the time, but Beatrix and I didn't leave your side for 4 whole days. And by the end of it, we felt somehow close to you. I know what they're trying to do. Trying to guilt me. Regardless of whether the twins were being honest about their reasons for helping me, the fact is that I had to trust someone at some stage, right? At some point, I'm going to have to trust another being with my own livelihood, my own survival. Lying or refusing to give information would only result in missing out on allying with the people I needed to. There was no other choice. It was do or die. Okay. An information swap then. Oh no, it's too easy for you to go to back on your word. You go, I'll go, and then Nicholas can go. How's that? Very well, my number is 2. So we have a 5, so that's a 7. If he has a 3, then we're set. I got a 5. He has a 3. Oh, should we do it? What do you think? Will you team up with us? Oh, I don't know. This seems too perfect. Because remember, we told the other group, what if they told them? And this was all a ruse just to get me to spill my number, and their numbers are fake. I don't know. I don't know. Should I be trusting these guys? I mean, they did help me, so. Look at that guy's eyes. I don't know. I'm not sure. You could be lying. I believe that Beatrix promises you dinner, so now that we finish our business, let's go on to something more pleasurable. Ooh, roast beef and vegetables. Nice. Roast beef, I had some of that for lunch today. And not that I mind. Our chef is a stickler for keeping the rations. Any meat he cooks is eaten every meal except for breakfast until it is gone, so that it stays fresh. Logically, it makes sense, but no one can tell but lament for the palate every now and then. The 3 of us shared a comfortable meal. I was shamelessly flirted by both twins, and occasionally I flirted back. Yeah, Nicholas, he's a hot one, isn't he? The time whisked past, and before I knew it, I found myself yawning into my hand. Bedtime, I think. Alright, well, that's an offer. I think I'll manage, thanks. Damn, Beatrix has the hots for us. Or it's all a ruse. I ambled down the hall sleepily, and rolled into bed. The tension I felt earlier had somehow dissipated and been replaced with a smooth feeling of calm. I slid into bed and fell asleep instantly. I woke up multiple times throughout the night. I couldn't believe this was happening. I couldn't be fighting for my life. I stared at the ceiling when I heard the door of my quarters open. Startled, I immediately sat up. Jesus, don't do that. I squinted through the dim light. It was difficult to make out a face, but I knew from the voice that it was the captain. I was grateful for the darkness that was obscuring my bed hair and my messy sleeping habits. What time is it? 4:30 in the morning. I'm sorry about the intrusion, but I must speak with you away from the watchful eyes of others. What about? You skipped dinner last night, as did the Vogels. Is it safe to assume that you were together? Yes. What did they want? Not that it's any of your business, but they asked for an information swap for the Make 10 game. And did you? Swap information. That's none of your concern. Even so, I just want you to be careful. I don't know what kind of person you are yet, but I feel it necessary to tell you that they may not be as upfront with you as you think they are. The Vogels are not to be trusted. I'll decide that for myself, thanks. Very well. But if you do decide to trust them, then you should be on your guard. You don't want to wind up dead because you trusted the wrong person. I must go. If you need to speak with me again, ensure that it is after hours. I will tell Ai to make my quarters available to you, should you wish to visit. Thank you. Now go back to sleep. You have a few hours before breakfast, though. Before I could blink, the captain had disappeared from my room, leaving me alone with my thoughts once more. Oh, sure. Sleep, she said. How could I possibly sleep when I thought that the Vogels could save me? I thought I was set, that everything would be fine now that I had people to work with. I guess I was wrong. After a few hours of restless sleep and some horrid dreams involving chewing my own teeth and something about insects crawling out of my ears, it was finally close enough to breakfast for me to get out of bed. The day held nothing but anxiety for me now. Today was the last day before the deletion game actually took place. For all I knew, tomorrow I could die. I walked down the corridors of the ship, gazing at the stars through the windows as I made my way to the dining room. Suddenly, a pair of hands accosted me from behind, grabbing my stomach and hauling me backwards into an unknown room. I spun around frantically once I was released. Who's this? A man and a young girl stood before me. Ominous smiles painted on their faces. The girl with vivid blue hair stood proudly, as if satisfied with the job well done. None of this seemed quite as pressing as the gleaming knife in the hands of the man. He stepped closer towards me. These guys are bad news. What do you want from me? The man advanced closer. I shrank back in fear as I flipped the knife into the air with a practiced hand and offered me the handle. Care to do the honors? I'm sorry, what? Kitashi made a lemon tart. Tartar citron, actually. They're the same thing. I usually don't encourage sweets before breakfast, but I think we can make an exception on this occasion. Please sit. Kitashi pulled a chair out of a nearby table and carefully pushed the plate of tart towards me. The pastry was golden brown and the middle had a gentle wobble to it. I gingerly cut 3 small pieces before handing the knife back to him. You don't want more? Kitashi's a really good cook, you know. That's plenty big enough. Kitashi quickly put the pieces on the plate and handed out the forks. Shizuka started gulping hers down with enthusiasm. I thought something sweet might soften the blow of our little kidnapping here. Well, it certainly helps. I'm Shadow Controllers, by the way. Agricultural engineer. What? Oh. Okay. The girl had her mouth full of tart and was preoccupied with stealing Kitashi's portion off of his plate while he was distracted. I'm sorry? This bundle of mess here is Shizuka, the linguistics officer, but she also does navigation duties from time to time. We understand you've been forced to join in this round of the game, so we wanted to propose an alliance of sorts. We want to win this game, but to do that we need allies. Well, I'm aware of that, but how do you even know that we have compatible numbers? That's easy. I already know your number's 5. Damn it! I knew I shouldn't have given people my numbers. How did you know? Like you guess. No. Someone blabbed. What? So you really didn't know? Nope. That's a lie. They know. Ignore her antics. What we really brought you here to talk about is the game itself. Even so, everyone's so preoccupied about finding a partner, no one is really looking at the bigger picture. There is a way to predetermine the winner as a group, rather than to backstab each other in order to survive. Explain. There's 10 cards, right? Everyone has a different card. If we all came out and honestly said what our numbers were, we could influence the results. 1 would pair up with 9, 2 with 8, 3 with 7, 4 with 6. And then whoever was left with the 5 would be the one eliminated, right? We need to work as a team, the whole damn crew. The game isn't just affecting us, but the rest of the humanity who are relying on us to finish the mission.
So, yeah.
Shizuka and I think the best thing to do is to vote on it as a group and then have the person chosen to be eliminated finish the game with a 5. But the person with the 5 will still die. Maybe so, but this is a game that cannot be beaten. I've worked it from every angle. The best we can just do is decide as a crew who will be sacrificed. And I hate what this game has turned us into. We all used to be such good friends. We were going to propose our idea at breakfast this morning, and the more supporters we can get, the better. We know the captain is willing to support us. It's just a matter of convincing everybody else. You don't need to give your answer now. Think it over. I will. Worst case scenario, if we can't get the crew to agree with us, then we'll team up with you. Katashi has a 2 and I'm a 3. Yeah, we've heard that before. Oh, I see. But Beatrix and Nicholas said they had a 2 and a 3. Someone was lying, and I don't have a lot of time to figure out who.
じゃあ
Damn. God, this game is so manipulative. Alright, well, let's get over to breakfast before too many people take note of our absence and start becoming suspicious. Damn. I followed behind Katashi and Shizuka in a daze. I didn't know what to do. I was lost in indecision. On the one hand, Nicholas and Beatrix have 5, so if I team up with them, I should be safe. But Shizuka and Katashi also said they make 5. Well, what about what the captain said about the Vogels being not trustworthy? She has known them much longer than I. And again, she might be lying too. If I support Katashi and Shizuka's idea to vote on who should be deleted, then there's a chance that they will vote for me as being, well, the least useful crew member, considering I just woke up like a day ago. I'd only just gotten here, and they've been here fine for 2 decades without me, so there is no way they would consider me essential personnel. If they voted, though, I could at least make a case for why I shouldn't be killed. You know, I'm young, smart. My research could possibly solve Earth's problem given enough time. Maybe they'd let me stay and prove myself. It'd be fairer than leaving it up to chance and skill at playing some stupid party game. Not leaving it up is all one word. I jerked at the feeling of my hand on his shoulder. We're here. I've been staring at the floor, rooted to the spot in front of the dining hall. Right, thanks. Katashi, Shizuka, and I made our way inside. Everyone was already helping themselves from a buffet of muesli, fresh fruits, and porridge. I grabbed a bowl of banana and muesli with some chilled milk and sat down in one of the empty seats next to Corrupt. Good morning. Sleep well? Yeah. Fine, thanks. I wasn't really in the mood for pleasantries, so I returned to my muesli. Muesli? What is a muesli? I've never heard that. Corrupt seemed content to leave me to my thoughts. By and by, the table was filled with empty bowls and fruit pills. The captain stood up at the head of the table. Instantly, a hush fell over the room. No doubt many of you are anxious. There is little I can do to put those feelings at ease. All I ask is that you treat each other with respect. We are the crew of the Everett. We are the best humanity has to offer, and such we must hold ourselves to higher standards. The deletion game is brutish, but doesn't that not mean we have to be? Fight fairly, play honorably, and have hope that we will overcome these trials.
そういえば
Captain, may I speak freely? Please. As the captain said, we are the crew of Everett. We must remember that we have a greater purpose.
俺らは負けない
We...
絶対に負けない
Okay. Shizuka has created a strategy that allows us to vote on the loser of the game. It's pretty simple, really. First, we discuss and vote on who should be eliminated. Then, the person must swap cards with number 5. Everyone else then pairs up with their opposite number, 2 with 8, 4 with 6, etc.
いい加減にして。
That's a good idea. Why would anyone ever cooperate if they lost? Because, I mean, if I got voted off, you think I'm going to willingly just give someone my card? No, that's not right.
違う
If we do this plan, everyone needs to be involved and willing to sacrifice themselves. And it's not a pretty plan, but it gets the job done.
まさか
Is this even allowed? Won't die protest.
大 丈夫です。
I do not believe that this plan is in contrary to the rules. The rules of Make 10 do not prevent disclosure of numbers or coordinated pairings.
でも
I'd rather not. Nicholas and I are doing perfectly fine on our own. Don't drag us into your petty little scheme to expose everyone's numbers and screw us over. We see through it.
そうです。
I have to agree with my sister on this one. We'd be at a considerable risk given that we are the only profession on board that has 2 officers.
無理だ。
Everyone here is important. There's no way I could ever choose between my friends. I don't know. I like the idea. But they're right. No one would ever go along with it. I don't think I support this idea. I mean, yeah, backstabbing and, you know, lying and deceit. Yeah, that's bad too. But this idea, I don't think this idea has much merit also. Seemed the idea wasn't very popular. There's nothing I could say that wouldn't sound motivated by self-preservation, so I decided to stay quiet. The thought is appreciated, Shizuka, but it seems the majority is against the idea. We will continue playing the deletion game as normal. Dismissed. Boy, they're not going to be happy that I didn't stand up for him. Whoops. I collapsed on my bed, fully clothed. What the hell was I to do tomorrow? Could I trust the Vogels to stay true to their word? Or would I be safer going with Katashi and Shizuka? There was little I could do but wait for tomorrow. Unless... The captain's magnanimous offer floated back to my memory. I wondered whether I should try and rest up so I could think clearly tomorrow, or if I ought to head over to the captain's quarters for counsel. Let's head over there. Why not? If anyone could help me, it was the captain. When she visited me last night, she had a gentleness about her that I hadn't seen before. Like she genuinely wanted to see me safe. Oh, can't do any harm, is what I hope will happen. I swung out of bed and moved quickly through the corridor. I didn't particularly want to be seen visiting the captain at this hour. It might suggest something untoward. Reaching her door, I buzzed her intercom.
こんばんは。
The captain's room was the same basic architecture as mine, but hers was comfortable. It looked lived in. Mine still looked sterile, the room of a stranger. The captain herself was sitting on the lounge, reading something on her digital display. She folded the towel under her lap as I approached and sat down next to her. Glad you came. I need to talk to somebody. I don't know what to do. This hasn't been an easy situation for any of us. In some ways, you have it the easiest. The person you see die tomorrow hasn't been your friend for a lifetime. Well, that's kind of a morbid way to put it. True, but then again, I'll never get the chance to know them at all. It's also another very interesting point. It's hard to know which is worse. Was there anything you wanted to talk about? I want to know about the game. What you said this morning, that the Vogels weren't trustworthy. Why did you tell me that? I wanted you to know what you were getting into. Nicholas and Beatrix love each other very much. There's almost nothing they won't do to protect themselves, even if that means betraying somebody else. They want to pair with me. What motivation would they have for lying? You're looking at it wrong. The aim of the game isn't to win, it's simply not to lose. But what if they aren't lying? That very well may be the case. I guess all we can do is wait until tomorrow. The waiting is always the hardest part. It's so frustrating not being able to help your own crew. All I can do is wait until one of the people I pledged my life to protect is butchered. A companionable silence fell between us for a minute. I better get going. Thanks for talking with me. My door is always open. Good night, Captain. Good night. I left the captain's quarters in a daze and arrived back in my room in what feels like seconds. My body moved automatically as my mind wandered. I slipped into my quarters and went to sleep. Oh God. Everyone wake the hell up right now. Alright, I'm awake. How do I turn you off? I'm not too fond of seeing disassembled computer parts. That puts me right out of the mood. Whips and leather, on the other hand. That's not what I meant, you know it. How do I turn the alarm off? The magic word is banana. Banana! Command accepted, alarm shutting off. And I did a poor impression of a robot. Her arms flailed wildly up and down in a stilted fashion. Her impression was emphatically concluded by her impression of shutting down. complete with a crooked head and arms swaying from the elbow. Looked like a dance move my father would have done. That is to say, it was not a good show. Are you done? Good morning. That time again, folks. Fighting for your life has never been so fun. Come join us in the dining hall right now for the second round of the deletion games. It's only the second round? I'll be there in a moment. Now please leave me alone. You're not very nice in the mornings, you know that? Perish the thought. Alright. Here we go, guys. You know, Judgment Day. Dai huffed audibly and then zapped out of the room. I made my way quickly to the dining hall to see that everyone else had already assembled. Man, we should have teamed up with somebody. Why didn't we do that? That was stupid. Oh, whatever. And here's the slowpoke. Now that everyone's here, let the fun begin! At Dai's exclamation, the surface of the dining table was overlaid with 4 hologrammatic terminals, one on each side of the table. We all gathered close to a nearby terminal to have a look. This one had 2 distinct areas. One on the left was a blank card. The right-handed side of the terminal was dominated by the outline of a hand. From this point onward, the dining hall will be a place of transactions. Parties to a transaction must be declared to me before entering the room, and only those involved in the transaction may enter this room. Any attempt to force your way and otherwise to interfere with the transaction will result in an instant forfeit, which means you'll be killed. Once players have entered the dining hall, you may choose who will control the transaction by using the primary terminal. The primary terminal is the one in front of the phallic statue. Come on, have a look. We all made our way up to the primary terminal to verify Dai's information. She wasn't lying. The left-hand side of the primary terminal contained an additional section with 3 choices labeled: Combine, Trade, or Give. To use the terminal, you must place your hand on the holographic screen. Once your handprint has been verified, the number on your card will appear. If you have 2 cards, both will appear. Because remember, someone can give you their card. I don't know why you ever would, but... The person at the primary terminal must then choose which transaction is to be undertaken. Those people who are at the passive terminals can see which action is chosen, but are unable to see the card numbers of the others participating in the transaction. Results of a combined transaction will not be known until judgment. The only information that will be displayed is who you have combined with and the total score. Results of a trade or give transaction will be noticeable during any following transactions, as your card number or amount will either have increased or decreased. In order to make sure that no one can see your card while you are transacting, each terminal has thick holographic walls. No one can know your card number unless you tell them. Half the fun has been watching you all lie to each other, after all. I'm available outside the dining hall at any time to repeat instructions or answer any questions you may have. You have 1 hour to complete your transactions. Okay, calm down. Okay. Dai ushered us out in the hallway. All pretense was gone. Alliances grouped together publicly without hesitation. Kimiko and Yoshika, Nicholas and Beatrix, Shizuka and Katashi, Vladimir, Corrupt, and Melody, and me, standing alone. I needed to decide who I was going to pair with. I mean, I had to pair with somebody. I only got a 5. I gotta do something. Groups stood staggered down the hallway, all keeping a watchful eye on the door to the dining room. None were willing to make the first move. Abruptly, Kimiko and Yoshika approached the hologram standing guard. Okay, Yoshika and I would like to transact. Very well, this way, please. The two entered the dining hall and the door swooshed closed. A click of a lock is audible. The message was clear. We were not to enter. Everyone would be wanting to make their arrangements as soon as possible. The longer you waited in this game, the more likely the numbers you needed would pair or swap with somebody else. This was the moment of truth. Okay. Beatrix? Oh shit. Okay, I didn't go back. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, so the mouse wheel. Okay, goes back. Okay. Beatrix and Nicholas are out for themselves. They're brother and sister, after all. They have more involved in this, than a normal stranger or friend would. They're blood. I think they're lying. Katashi and Shizuka, I didn't really know them. But they said both these groups said they had the same numbers. So, someone's lying, but I have no way to know that. If I do nothing, I'm left with a 5, and I just gotta hope that I don't have the lowest card. That's too risky. I gotta pair up with somebody. It increases my chances. Alright, I'm gonna pair up with Katashi and Shizuka. It was decided. The strategy to put their mission first had somewhat endeared me to them. They were making the best out of an impossible situation in a rational way, and I admired them for that. Katashi and Shizuka stood quite close to the door. They greeted me with smiling faces. Hey guys, does the offer to team up still stand by any chance? It surely does.
Arigato.
Or gladly. Don't do that smile when I... God, just make me just regret everything I just did. Glad you decided to trust us. You won't regret it. It looks like the dining room is going to be crowded for a while. Shall we come back in half an hour? We do have a bit of time still, and if we stay together, you know. It stops us thinking that one of us is betraying the others.
So yo.
That's not how I would have said it, but yeah, that's the gist of it. Woohoo! I vote we kill time by playing video games. Shizuka, you can play after we're done. Right now, we should all get some peace and quiet. Let's head to the Eco Lounge. Fine by me? Oh, it's this place. The Eco Lounge was the perfect place. It is the eye of the storm. Even with all the tension currently taking place, a brisk walk away and this place still felt pure. We whiled away 40 minutes with casual conversation as we laid on our backs on the soft grass watching the stars drift overhead. Ah, so beautiful. If I died, we'd be really pissed. By the time we returned, the hallway was empty. It seemed everyone had either finished their business or decided to regroup. Yo, are you all here to transact? Yes. Okie dokie, okie dokie. You have 10 minutes to complete the transaction, at which time you will be forcibly removed. Oh, we only get 10 minutes. Interesting. Alright. The door closed with a loud metallic clang. We agreed earlier that Shizuka would be in charge of the primary terminal, spending some time in the Eco Lounge had eased any lingering doubts in my mind. I knew they wouldn't betray me. I knew it in my heart. I made my way to one of the side terminals opposite Katashi. Once I stepped in front of the terminal, the front and side walls prevented me from seeing anything. All my attention was focused on the screen. This would determine my future. The sensation of placing my hand on something that wasn't physically there was very surreal. It was silly, but I couldn't help but think that I would feel some slight vibration of electricity, but there was nothing. My terminal beeped as my handprint was verified to be my own. The terminal changed to display my name and my card number. A lonely 5. On my screen I could see the word combine light up as it was selected. In a moment the number of my card changed to 5 plus Shizuka plus Katashi, and it was done. We were officially allied. Now remember, if you are allied, any future transactions must include those allies. You can add another person to the ally, but I must have Shizuka and Katashi with me to add anybody else or whatever. Congratulations, your transaction has been completed. Judgment will occur in 8 minutes. Thank you for participating in the deletion game. Oh, thank you. That's what I wanted to do today. You know, decide my fate. But don't we decide our fates every day? Like waking up. Glad that's over. I don't think I'd ever said that about a game before. You have been playing the wrong games, my friend. This isn't those Pixar dot thingies on the screen, Shizuka. You mean pixels? Whatever, the point is, it's not a game. Well, I think it's about time for the results. 8 minutes. Man. Extra, extra. B sharp singing on the rooftop. I mean, attention, attention. The deletion game for this week has ended. All participants are to meet in the dining room once. I like that Simpsons reference there. That was funny. Dai's voice thundered through the ship. I froze. It was the moment of truth. You'd all better hurry. I'm not going to wait to announce the results, you know. I closed my eyes and exhaled deeply, and then I was ready. Well, as ready as I'd ever be. Everyone congregated in the dining hall within minutes of Dai's announcement. The anticipation in the room was palpable. Everyone was jittery and silent, eager to hear the results. It is time for judgment. Friends, if you all look up here, I've created a holographic scoreboard for your convenience. You can thank me later. In a minute, this board will display the final results of each of you. To each of you? I don't know. The individual numbers of each player will not be displayed after all. What's done is done. My heart was pounding in my chest. It threatened to burst into pieces. Shallow, rapid breaths were all I could muster as I clenched my eyes shut, horrified to see my face sealed in glowing letters and numbers. Oh, I'm just so excited for you to all find out the results. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Think we're gonna live? I think we're gonna live. Yeah, I have a good feeling about this. Here we go. The moment of truth. We did it! Who got... Okay. Oh no! Corrupt... Oh, corrupt. No. How did he get a... Well, he must have had a card. Okay. Wow. I was safe. I was safe! I wasn't gonna die. Ooh. Tremendous wave of relief washed over me. People who bake cakes or play video games couldn't be bad. Haha. Katashi, Shizuka, and I all had proud, shiny 10s above our names. It wasn't until my eyes searched further along the scoreboard that I saw it. Corrupt had a 0. She must have gave her card away to her husband. What is the meaning of this, Dai? Your scores are wrong. Why does my wife have 0? Tell me! Vladimir stormed up to the hologram, demanding an explanation. He once kind face was distorted with rage. A deep, tempestuous red crawled up his neck as he roared expletives at Dai. Shh, hush now, love. Let me explain. Mommy, what's going on? Why is Daddy yelling? Everything's fine, sweetheart. This can't be happening. Oh God, not again. I will not let you take the person I love. You will have to take me apart piece by piece before I let you touch a hair on this woman's head. How dare you accuse me of cheating? You must play by the rules, human, and so must I. It's not wrong, Vladimir. Please, honey, don't do this in front of Melody. Who did this? One of you tricked her into doing this. I can't strangle the hologram, but I can still bloody well strangle one of you lot. Vladimir whipped around the room like a hurricane, threatening pain to everyone in the room. Vladimir, stop, please. Please, don't tell me this is true. This can't be true. I can't lose you. All eyes were fixed on the furious Vladimir and the calming, tender touches of Corrupt. I'm so sorry. Why? His voice quavered, crackling slightly. It was a hurt voice, the voice of a broken man. Why would you do this to me? To Melody. I did this for you, for Melody, for what's left of the human race. When we signed up for this mission all those many years ago, we agreed that we would do whatever it took to make this mission succeed. After what happened to Charles, to your wife, to our friends, I never thought I would recover. Then one day, you made the worst lamington I'd ever eaten, and then all at once I saw you clearly. I realized that between the late night poker sessions and letting me steal your chocolate rations that I loved you. That I loved you for some time. But that doesn't change the mission. I don't care about the mission. Yes, you do. That's the disbelief talking. You know that we have a duty, that this is bigger than you or I. That's why I did it. I am the most replaceable crew member. I've passed everything I know to Shizuka, but you still have a job to do. Our little Melody, she's going to be a scientist just like her father, and she will pass on that knowledge to her children, and they will do the same. You are still necessary to the mission, my love. I can't do this without you. Please. You can, you will, for Melody's sake. Vladimir wrapped his arms around his wife and hugged her tightly. It seemed as if Vladimir was trying to convey everything his words could not with more love in his hug. He clung to her so closely, so desperately. We were all intruding on an intensely personal exchange. Mommy, what's going on? Krupp scooped Melody up in her arms, setting Melody on her hip. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I have to go away for a while, but Daddy will be here to take care of you and keep you safe, okay? I don't want you to go. I know, sweetie. One day you'll understand. Oh, aren't you guys just the cutest? Time is money, people. It's time to spend the wheel of fatality. Woo! With a flourish, Dai conjured a sizable holographic wheel split up into labeled sections. I barely got a chance to read them. Gravity, airlock, oxygen, spacewalk. Before Dai spun the wheel heftily and the worlds blurred together, our eyes are fixed to the wheel as the wheel began to slow and tick, tick, tick to a standstill. Incineration, well done, you. No time like the present. Let's head down to the incinerator, shall we? Can I have just a minute with my family? To say goodbye. No. Move it, sister. Everyone follow me. As you remember from last time, viewing the death is a mandatory part of the participation in the deletion game. Come along now. I will not allow Melody to watch. I absolutely refuse. I must agree, Dai. Subjecting a child to witness the demise of a family member is cruel, even for you. Dai spat out her answer through gritted teeth and a plastered smile. Melody is a participant just like you. I will not bend the rules merely because she's shorter than the rest of you. She's a child! She's a member of this crew. Now, feel free to continue to argue with me, but for every second you push the issue, I'll be decreasing the amount of oxygen flowing into this room. That's low, Dai, even for you. Fine, we'll do it your way. And here I thought a little CO2 poison might improve your personality. Maybe next time, eh, Captain? This is cruel. The march to the incinerator was grueling. I'd never seen a person die before. And it's something I never thought I would see. My stomach revolted at the prospect. My mind felt numb. I couldn't imagine what Krupp is going through right now. Krupp set a slow pace to the incinerator, dragging out the precious time she had left to spend with her family. The sound of Melody's uncontrollable sobbing was the sole sound that echoed throughout the bowels of the ship as we delved deeper than I'd ever ventured before. The temperature rose with every step, and I slowly became aware of the gentle crackling of flames. There it was, the furnace. The room was cavernous, dominated by a raging fire held at bay by a thick pane of glass. Crowding into the room, the heat overwhelmed us as the door to the furnace room thudded shut behind us without warning. There was a chute in the roof above the center of the flames for easy access, but clearly the occasion warranted using the hinged door to cut into the glass. Here we are, Krupp. For losing round 2 of the deletion game, you have been designated the punishment of incineration. I must insist you enter the furnace immediately. No one goes out until she goes in and gets a little singed. Company fallen. All except Melody and Vladimir immediately formed a regimented line and put their hand in the salute position. I mimicked their actions as best I could. Formal rank Krupp, Navigational Officer of the Everett, you have served with great honor. Your contributions to this mission are countless. Your compassion and your loving heart have made this ship a better place. You will be missed. Company salute. The entire line saluted in unison. Krupp's smile was bittersweet. She stood up straight and locked gaze with each of us meaningfully before returning a salute of her own. It has been a privilege to serve with such fine men and women. Godspeed, friends. Krupp, you don't have to say a word. I already know. Krupp and Vladimir shared a deep, lingering kiss. Goodbye, my love. In you go, Krupp. Clock's a-ticking. Krupp crouched down face to face with Melody and was clutching her father's lab coat tight in her fist. Melody's face was stained with tears. Now, Melody, I need you to do something for me, sweetheart. When I step in there, I need you to close your eyes and not open for anything. Do you understand? Don't open your eyes. Okay. Listen to your father. Be a good girl. Love without measure. I love you, Melody. You are the light of my life, and I hope that one day you will understand and be able to forgive me. Always remember that I love you, always. Krupp tugged her daughter for one final time, kissed her on the top of the head, a forced smile, and stood up. I'm ready, Dai. About time. I could feel the searing heat on my skin as Croft opened the door to the incinerator and stepped in, shutting the door behind her. Mommy, don't! Melody rushed towards the glass, begging her open hands in desperation as if, oh, it just struck her what was about to happen. The flames licked at Croft's ankles as she bent down and smiled comforting. It's okay, sweetie. Everything will be fine. Close your eyes, honey. Mom, come back. Melody stood dejected. Tears cascading down her cheeks and onto the floor as she stood watching her mother numbly. The tongues of flame had been blackened into the navigation officer's clothing. Violent, blistering welts began forming on her exposed skin. Close your eyes, Melody. Close your eyes. Vladimir, make her close her eyes, please. Vladimir bent down to force Melody to turn away from the visage of her burning mother, smoke pouring off a corrupt, scorched body. Animalistic howls racked through her body as she shrieked, unable to bear the pain. Melody, honey, look at Daddy. It's okay, honey. The last I saw was Vladimir pulling Melody into a hug, holding her head so that she couldn't turn to look at her mother, whose charred skin was starting to slickly separate from the muscle underneath. I clamped my eyes shut, sickened by the sight. Even with my eyes shut, my imagination ran riot as a visceral thump reverberated throughout the room. The putrid smell of burning air pushed me to the edge as I began to gag. Cold air whooshed in behind me. The doors had opened. I opened my eyes and scrambled towards the exit as fast as my legs could carry me. We all swayed about the corridor, Beatrix and Nicholas holding each other for support. Shizuka was on her knees in the corner, spasming rhythmically, holding back the contents of her stomach by sheer force of will. Vladimir, oh Vladimir. His face was drawn and eyes tearful red. But he was doing his very best to hold it together for Melody, who was now screaming, thrashing in his arms. One by one, we left the two of them alone, unable to endure the sight of their agony. As we left the area, a voice taunted us through the intercom.
またね。
The next round of the deletion game begins in 24.